very positive and understanding, I think, of the calls for social change that along with the Bucks, we at the Kings have been working on these issues for a couple of years now quite actively and want to see change happen. And so the Bucks ownership and ownership around the league responded quickly last night, saying that we're broadly supportive of this movement and this understanding that things have to change and faster than they are right now. We're working right now. The Board of Governors is meeting, and the players are meeting to talk about how that means how we go on with the season. And we hope that means we go on with the season and expect that we will. But overall, we're ready to do more, and we're ready to do more in partnership with the players.
Although the action, the collective action, isn't driven. It's not a classic labor dispute where they're looking for remedies from ownership. They're looking for remedies from attorneys general and society at large. I mean, what needs to happen to satisfy the demands of the players when it's largely out of ownership control?
I think that you've seen a lot of Adam Silver's leadership in this in the ability to move forward together, and I think that you'll see activity among both ownership groups and from the league on those levels. That when we agreed to open up again in Orlando, that having a social justice platform was a significant part of that. And we just want to continue that work, and we think that we'll be able to do that in partnership with the players. The occurrence of another incident, we started with Stephon Clark in Sacramento, but you've seen the George Floyd protests, everything every other day. When there's a new name added to these lists, and Breonna Taylor, it needs to stop. And the frustration that the players feel is something that's felt broadly among the ownership group, too. We want to see change.
Chris, good morning. It's John Fort. So I want your take on something. When I see this action in the NBA from the players, it reminds me of a decade ago when the Defense Department started paying the NFL for these patriotic displays with players on the field. And, that combined with post 9/11, there was this idea of honoring the military and first responders at these games, which includes police, and maybe optically that sent the idea that these players are in support of military and police action, not just the country in general. And so maybe to some extent, this is a response to that. Maybe the sport got tied to those ideas over the past decade. Maybe sport in general got tied to it. What do you think?
Well, I think you've got to ask the NFL folks about that and the choices that they've made there. We came into the league, our ownership group, led by my good friend Vivek Ranadive. We wanted to be out in front on these issues. That the Donald Sterling controversy was the first thing that we faced, and watching Adam Silver's new leadership at that point taking over for David Stern, to deal with it very, very forthrightly. And as players have gotten more tied to demanding change in the way that policing is done in America, we've been broadly supportive, and we want to continue to be broadly supportive. I think that you can honor first responders, and I've been very involved with law enforcement over my career. I left Facebook to run for Attorney General here in California, a deep believer in police and the work that they do, but it's time for radical change when you have unarmed black motorists often being killed by police. That's just not acceptable in America. We have to fix that. And that's what the players are saying, and there's broad agreement among ownership about that, too.
Hey, Chris, it's Deirdre Boza on the West Coast. Good morning. There's been reports that some of the players, LeBron James included, want owners to become more involved, take more action. Do you think that owners are doing enough in this moment?
Look, there's always the possibility to do more. The Partner Up for Change work that we've done with the Bucks, and now with almost 10 teams, part of our group, including a number of WNBA teams, so holding summits every year about this, coming out of some of the earlier actions, both in the Stephon Clark case in Sacramento and the harassment of some players on the Bucks, led us to start to take that action 2 years ago. We're opening up Golden One Center, our arena in Sacramento, as a voting center for countywide voting in the upcoming election. I'm excited to see, and we're all excited to see, LeBron's work in expanding voting access in African American communities, and I think that there's always more to be done, and we're looking to do more.
If a solution is harder to come by than we think, lost product means lost revenue. And the question this morning is who pays, right? Who's going to fill that gap? And is there risk to collective bargaining agreements in the years to come? I mean, do you see it potentially getting that serious?
I think the discussion between the league and the Players Association has been very positive at this point. And, there's been a couple extensions on some of the changes that are ongoing, and I think that Adam Silver and Michelle Roberts and the crew are in very productive conversations on that. I don't see any problems arising, given that we're aligned, I think, about how we want to go forward.